YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with an updated, way too early NFL mock draft. College football week 1 in the book, except for a couple games here, but a lot of players helping their stock, so I thought it made sense to make this mock draft, and the NFL season is right around the corner. In-season content from us is right around the corner, so I thought it made sense to get out an updated mock draft here. But hopefully you can join us for all that NFL content we got planned, power rankings on Labor Day, then Tuesday night pick'ems, Wednesday score predictions. That goes every week, and there's more content, always creating more content. So join us for that. Join our Picks League. There's a link pinned in the comments for that. We have 2 Picks League. There's one special one for our Twitter super followers where you get involvement, things like that. More information in those links. You see in pink on the left of your screen there's all the other bonus content super followers get. Check us out on Twitter. Always live updates, talking during live games. Check out the GLD shop you see underneath me as well. I have a code GOAT for 33% off. I'm wearing the Titans chain right now. They have NFL pendants, like this one. They got all kinds of jewelry, real gold, very affordable. Plus, I have that 33% off code. Link and code pinned in the comments. Check it out. But again, make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Full in-season coverage. Cannot wait for that this upcoming week. And then check out that Twitter. Very important. But this order was determined by FanDuel Super Bowl odds. So reverse order, obviously, the top Super Bowl favorites at the bottom. Remember, there's 31 picks now, too, because the Dolphins forfeited their pick. But yeah, let's not make a big deal about the FanDuel Super Bowl odds. I just decided to use that as an order. This wasn't the video to predict. Recently did playoff predictions. You can check those out. But yeah, I don't agree with some where they have some teams in terms of the odds, but that's just not this video. We're getting to know the prospects, where they can go, where they can fit. Texans first overall. I mean, it's still up in the air on what's going to happen with Davis Mills. There's some belief in there, obviously, and it looks like he could be solid. He has some potential, but if he really struggles this year, they could take a quarterback, and there are quarterbacks worthy of that first overall pick, but Will Anderson is most definitely worthy of that first overall pick. I think he can fit either scheme. I think he does seem a little bit more like a 3-4 outside linebacker, which Lovie Smith and the Texans, if they still have Lovie Smith when they're drafting, run more of that 4-3. But I still think Will Anderson can fit either because he's that good, that talented against getting after the quarterback and stopping the run as well. Would have been the best in a great edge rush class last year. I think would have been the best one, would have been the first overall pick. So Texans go Will Anderson. I got the Falcons going C.J. Stroud. It definitely could be Bryce Young. Look, in terms of college football right now, I think Bryce Young's a little bit better in terms of college football. But Stroud feels a little bit more like an NFL quarterback depending on the scheme / the system. And we saw him play Notre Dame last night. He was a little off in the first half. He definitely got things going in the second half. You see his ability to escape pressure, roll out, throw on the run, tight window throws along the sideline. His work along the sideline is very, very solid. And we've seen him read safety blitz and get a touchdown that was basically the game winner over the top. In the middle of the field there in the end zone. So some good things there. I think Stroud will fit what the Falcons are trying to do there. Mariota could play solid this year. I still think they're looking for that quarterback of the future. Could be Desmond Ridder, and they get better with a guy like Stroud. Seahawks, Bryce Young, it just seems like a perfect fit. A Russell Wilson type quarterback here. The Seahawks won't be concerned about the height. Some teams probably will be like that. Bryce Young's pretty good. He doesn't have your prototypical NFL quarterback height that teams still do find valuable, important, and maybe overreact to it. But I think the Seahawks definitely would be the team to take a shot. Well, not really that's taking a shot, but would take Bryce Young there with the third pick. The Jets don't have a whole lot of giant needs as of right now going into week 1. Quarterback play is really what it's all on. Could they be taking a quarterback here? I definitely can't sit here and say 0%. I'm not going to predict it, though. So I think they can go with Jalen Carter, the top-tier prospect from Georgia, who can move around a bit. Crazy to think that he could end up being the best Georgia defensive lineman even from last year when they had a guy go, first overall, 13th in the end of the first round with Devontae Wyatt to the Packers there. So Carter's that good. Jets could use another guy in there on the defensive line, even though it's a pretty good group already. Just not a whole lot of glaring needs. It could be quarterback. Unless they lose somebody. Some are safety. It's too early for a safety, perhaps. Jags go Peter Skoronski, which Northwestern didn't play here in week 1. I was calling it week 0 where they played in. They played Nebraska in Ireland, that Ireland game, obviously, where they pulled off, and Skoronski had a good showing there. He's a very good left tackle. Some will probably try to move him to guard, but I like him at tackle. In the Jaguars' case, they probably could move him to right tackle because they like Cam Robinson for left. And Cam Robinson's been a little inconsistent, so there's nothing set for next year on who will be what tackle. But Skoronski, very good pass protector, very good run blocker for a tackle. Another Rashawn Slater coming from Northwestern there. So definite stud there on the offensive line. Bears go Jackson Smith and Jigba, which we saw him actually get injured against Notre Dame last night. And he was trying to fight his way back in there, get back in the game. And it was tough, kind of playing it safe. But so I guess he really didn't help his stock last night, but a very good receiver that's going to get, as long as he's healthy, he's going to get a lot of production and make his way in the top 10 in the NFL draft there. Anthony Richardson might be the biggest one in terms of stock up after yesterday. He definitely needs to polish some things up on the throwing and maybe cut down on trying to play hero ball a little bit, but he has the arm talent to play that way. But, the ability to read pressure, escape it, make a wow play, has the arm strength, has that zip on the ball that you look for. He played a very good defense in Utah. There was times where he was making Utah's defense look not good, like they were missing him, they couldn't get him. And Utah is a tough defense. I don't care what we saw yet last night. That was a hell of a game, by the way. So Richardson, stock is definitely up. The Lions, Goff could play solid for them. I don't think he's the guy of the future. They're starting to kind of build piece by piece, having really good drafts, so now they can take a shot on taking a quarterback. Would like Richardson for them. Just want to see him continue to grow as a passer. I'm excited to watch Florida this year, mainly because of Richardson. Panthers go Michael Mayer. They could go quarterback as well. Baker on 1-year deal. Prove it year for him. I think he could be solid enough where they extend him, possibly. Unless they get a even better pick. I don't think they'll be picking 8th, and they could be better than this, but again, not my order. But yeah, they go Michael Mayer, the tight end from Notre Dame there. They already have Tommy Tremble in there, but they could definitely use another guy like that. Guy you could do so much. You see, he was Notre Dame's really only option last night. They put him out wide. He was even getting more separation than we probably realized just because the quarterback was limited, limited quarterback play from there in terms of passing. But yeah, kind of rare type of tight end for the NFL draft here. So the Panthers grab Mayer. On to the next group of picks. We'll give the Giants a quarterback, Will Levis, who could be like a Josh Allen type. Will he be Josh Allen? Probably not, but a Josh Allen type of quarterback for Brian Daboll there in the Giants. Kind of that physical, tough guy, tough to bring down, could run too. Similar to Josh Allen, has a really strong arm. Big playability will definitely give a lot more to Josh Allen there. But Levis has some big playability, kind of could calm down a little bit. Sometimes Kentucky offense is a little bit dink and dunk sometimes, so you kind of want to see him branch out of that to make sure he's a top 10 pick, but you see the upside there. Commanders go at Keely Ringo, the Georgia corner, should be the top corner in the draft. See that Georgia defense is still balling out. See them dominate Oregon yesterday. I expected them to win big. I didn't expect it to be like that. Holding the 3 points and score 49 points, pretty ridiculous there. Paris Johnson Jr. had a pretty good outing against Notre Dame. Notre Dame's got some pretty good defensive linemen, good pass rushers, and he held it down there. Steelers definitely could use an offensive lineman where they're going to play, because Johnson can play tackle or guard. I like him at tackle, but they can use them anywhere, really. Bijan Robinson to the Eagles. Eagles have 2 picks. This one's from the Saints. So they're basically, with the odds, they're saying the Saints will get the 12th pick. I wouldn't really agree with that, but again, that's not the point of the video. But yeah, Robinson, fantastic back. The Eagles are always looking for more backs. See them bring in Sermon. How much longer has Miles Sanders got with them? He has some injury concerns anyways. They get better here with Robinson. It's a really good rushing offense either way, but if you get this type of back with that upside, it can be very special. I like this running back class a lot. There's guys that just feel like legit number 1 NFL running backs there. So Brian Brise, the defensive lineman from Clemson, which we'll get to see on Monday night, tomorrow night there. But yeah, too good to pass at this point for the Patriots. It's a big-time talent on the defensive line, like him as a kind of a 3-4 end, kind of pair him with Christian Barmore on the defensive front made sense. Joey Porter Jr. had a good outing. I was on Thursday against Purdue. That was a hell of a game as well, where Penn State pulled it off at the end. Raiders definitely can use a corner. Kind of felt like that as it was, and they traded Trayvon Mullen. Definitely can use another corner here. They get Porter Jr. Vikings go quarterback. Tyler Van Dyke slipped through a little bit. And he can go much earlier, but I think Anthony Richardson on the rise, and Van Dyke played well yesterday, but Miami played Bethune-Cookman, so pretty hard to tell. And Will Levis in Kentucky played Miami-Ohio. They started off a little slow. But Levis in Kentucky will play Florida. Anthony Richardson in Florida next week. I am excited about that. I'm excited to watch Van Dyke the rest of this year as well. It just kind of feels like a Stafford-type quarterback for Kevin O'Connell here in Minnesota. So if he slips through, they could be looking for the quarterback. And Kirk Cousins has been playing solid, but they could be looking for the guy of their future. The Titans go Kayshon Boutte, who we'll see tonight actually for LSU. Really excited about him. It's a potential top 10 receiver. Titans, it's not really a glaring need at this moment. They have Robert Woods. How much longer has he got, though? Burks is kind of your gadget guy. They hope that he can be more than that. So they kind of can just add another true outside receiver there. And they brought in Josh Gordon. He's on the practice squad. I think they're about to wait and then add him to the active roster, before, the season start really kicks off here. Could take another week. So that it kind of proves they're kind of looking for that type of receiver here. So that's why I went that route for the Titans. And then next, we got the Texans, another receiver, Josh Downs, who got hurt. He's week to week. That's tough. We saw him in week 1. Saw the footwork. Ridiculous. Home run type of guy. This guy's legit. So I think, it wouldn't shock me if we're fast forward. He's the first receiver off the board. So I think the Texans are definitely looking for another guy to kind of pair with Cooks and Nico Collins there. Miles Murphy, who we'll see on Monday night against Georgia Tech. Very physical, solid defensive end as an edge rusher. The Cardinals, they've been kind of running more of a 3-4, so you think Murphy's more of a physical 4-3 end, but the Cardinals given different looks this training camp, this offseason going into the season, some 4-3 looks, and I think they are easing towards that, for the future. They got a lot of pieces that fit that more this past, look at the draft. J.J. Watt, who's only got one more year, but can fit either one there. Isaiah Simmons fits better as a 4-3 linebacker that also can play in a slot. So I think they're kind of gearing towards that. Murphy kind of just too good to pass at the same time. They're a pass rusher here in Arizona. Colts, Jordan Addison. It was tough with this one because would the Colts actually do it? Because the Colts never draft these receivers. They never draft the Jordan Addison type receivers, but they absolutely need to. He's a do-it-all, shifty guy, gets separation, gets open. The Colts, like their big body guys, mainly in the second round or the third round. If they had a guy like Jordan Addison this year, I think we'd be thinking a lot better of the Colts. So they need to go out and get that guy. But I'm excited to watch the rest of the year Addison with that USC offense. They scored 66 on Rice in week 1. I know it's Rice, but the old USC was not doing that. So you see the talent they got, but you see what Lincoln Riley can do over there. Bengals go Cam Smith, the cornerback from South Carolina, physical corner, getting a lot of buzz there since he could use another corner in there perhaps, but a guy like Cam Taylor-Britt could step up for the future. Not a lot of needs for Cincy. Cowboys had him going to corner as well, pair an Alabama guy with a Alabama guy with Trevon Diggs, so they could be looking out for another corner. We'll see how a guy like Calvin Joseph does this year perhaps, but Ricks, who has some off-the-field issues, otherwise he'd go a lot earlier. Ravens go Jahmyr Gibbs, big Jahmyr Gibbs fan. Bama only gave him 9 carries. He got 96 yards, something like that on him. He's kind of reminds me of Alvin Kamara a little bit. He's a stud, absolute stud. We'll see that the rest of the year. The Ravens, always looking for more running backs. They're bringing Kenyon Drake, probably going to be there for a year. Mike Davis, probably going to be there for a year. J.K. Dobbins, we still want to see him after the injury. They want to load up on as good as backs as they can get here, and they do that with Gibbs, and he'd probably be their best one, honestly. I believe in Dobbins, but Gibbs could be something special in the NFL. I like his upside there. These running backs, I'm telling you, in this draft class, I already know it. Eagles grab a linebacker. They've improved their linebacker unit this year. Not a whole lot of glaring needs. They can improve it even more. Trenton Simpson is a freaky dude, freaky linebacker. We'll see him on Monday night against Georgia Tech. Seahawks grab their interior offensive lineman. They grabbed Cross, their tackles last year, so they go Voorhees from USC here at the 24th pick, and that pick is from Denver, as you can see. And then going on the last 8 picks, more running backs. I love these running backs. Dolphins go Tank Bigsby with a monster game for Auburn. We know he's a monster running back as well with the cutting ability, the ability to shed tackles. I'd like to see him get a little bit more involved in catching the ball out of the backfield or downfield the rest of this year. You can see that. But, the Dolphins, you see at the bottom, did forfeit their pick for this year. If you didn't hear about that, just look it up. So there won't be 32 picks, but they still have one. As you can see, it's from San Francisco, which is projected here by FanDuel at 25. So they grab their running back to assist that running game a bit more. Chargers go Noah Sewell, Very rough outing for Oregon against Georgia. I expected Georgia to give it to them, not that much though. And the defense, missing tackles, bad angles all around. The linebacker unit's supposed to be pretty solid. I think Noah Sewell is a very solid linebacker. He's not too good in coverage though. Needs to improve there, but good against the run. Could definitely blitz as well. Chargers could use him. Packers go Tyree Wilson, the edge rusher from Texas Tech. He lines up more like an outside linebacker edge, but he's kind of built more like a 4-3. And I think that the Packers who are on 3-4 kind of like those guys. The guys are like thinking, hey, maybe he's more of a 4-3, but yeah, he kind of can play that. The Packers end up getting those guys. Rashawn Gary, I always thought Preston Smith was that guy. And Nagbari, who they drafted, I felt like that was the same thing too. So it just seems like a Packers edge rusher here who is very solid, underrated player. And for this year, they have a pretty good duo in Gary and Preston Smith. I think they'll be looking out for the future to pair with Gary there. So they get Wilson. Antonio Johnson, the safety from A&M. Lions grab him. Maybe it's him and Kirby Joseph for the future. I know they like Tracy Walker as well there, though. Then Sean Tucker, maybe a little bold here, but the Syracuse running back who's been very good in the past, had a monster game against Louisville yesterday. That was a bit of a surprise. Syracuse really gave it to them. But yeah, Sean Tucker's ability to run the ball, he can be physical as well, but the speed and quickness he brings and the ability to catch the ball, even as a receiver, is pretty ridiculous. It's kind of eye-popping, and it's kind of what NFL teams are looking for, that running back that can be more than just a running back in today's NFL. Those are the guys that they'll take in the first round. So Sean Tucker, I think that name we don't hear a lot up here. We don't hear our Syracuse players really at all ever up here. But that's a guy to watch, and he was, if you didn't see any of him yesterday against Louisville, man, that's special. It feels like a guy that NFL teams would want. So the Chiefs could be looking out for their guy, the future at the running back position. Still some questions there, and they got a deeper room for sure now, but a guy for the future that can really fit. In the Bucs take Isaiah Foskey, the edge rusher from Notre Dame. And they did take Logan Hall, but I think he's going to be more of a 3-4 end that can. Oh, it's kind of like a Jace Pierre-Paul. Pierre-Paul played edge, but he also played 3-4 end sometimes. I think Logan Hall will see him kind of 3-4 end sometimes, or most time, and sometimes as an edge. And they have Shaq Barrett and Joe Tryon. Joe Tryon needs to step up this year. They could use another piece in there for sure. And Foskey ended up slipping through a little bit. First half against Ohio State, he was non-existent, so that's where you credit to Ohio State offensive line guys like Paris Johnson. Second half, he didn't get any sacks, but he was starting to get some pressure a little bit. If it wasn't for that stupid safety blitz call that Notre Dame had, that pretty much blew the game for them. Not that they would have won if they, who knows. I think he would have got a sack on that play if they just kept their safeties back. So he was starting to get some pressure, but was just a little bit underwhelming as a whole, especially in the first half. And Christopher Smith, the safety from Georgia, really stood out. And first off, may say, why do the Bills need a safety? They're the best safety duo in football. Who knows what's going on with Jordan Poyer? They need to give him an extension. They should. They may do it eventually, whatever. But as of right now, maybe it looks they don't have a whole lot of need. Maybe it looks like they need a safety of the future there to pair with Hyde, perhaps. But Christopher Smith had a monster game against Oregon there. He had an interception. He was flying up, attacking the ball underneath, was all over the place. It just really, really reminded me of Lewis Seen, who just got drafted in this spot basically last year to the Vikings in the first round, so from Georgia. So just seems like another one of those types of guys that just fly around the football field there. So the Bills grab him, and again the Dolphins. This is weird. I've been doing these mocks forever, just not having a 32nd pick here. So they don't have their own first round pick. They do have the San Francisco 49ers though, and I had them going running back. I had a lot of running backs going, which is kind of rare in today's NFL, but these guys are special. Maybe some of them we want to see pick it up in terms of the pass catching ability. We saw Evans too, the former TCU running back, playing for Ole Miss. Looks really good. He can sneak up in there for sure. But yeah, these running backs are pretty damn good. They're pretty good. They could be. Some of these guys could be future Pro Bowlers, they're taking over the NFL here, like a wave of young guys coming in, it feels like. So we'll see. Very excited to watch how they do the rest of the year, all these players do, and who sneaks into the first round. There's some quarterbacks that some people were mocking in the first round that struggled a little bit yesterday. We saw those guys, and there's some under the radar guys like Spencer Rattler had a couple good moments. Played Georgia State though. Hendon Hooker I like. He's a little on the older side, but from Tennessee I like him as well. Kind of like a poor man's, probably a very poor man's Deshaun Watson reminds me of a little bit. So some guys can be sneaky. We'll see how the rest of the year plays out. It's good to have college football back, and it's good to have football back in general. NFL season kicking off this week, this Thursday. Bills, Rams, we have you covered. We'll be live talking on Twitter during all these games. We'll have all the in-season content. Cannot wait. Hopefully you can join us for all that. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Check out those links pinned in the comments. A lot of important ones there. To join our Pick'ems League and a lot more. So check it out. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.